guys, I am Chris Kaler.
And I'm Amber Foss from Kyuujin Cosplay, and today we are with you guys finally to the finale of HunterXHunter, episode 148.
Oh my god.
Technically, it's been 4 years since the beginning
It's been
of the first
4
episode.
years.
We went through many adventures with our characters and made it through hardship on our side. But
Yeah.
we finally managed to reach the end line.
We're gonna meet Ging this one final time. We're gonna have the discussion we've been waiting
We're
for.
gonna have our answers.
Yes.
We need answers.
I wonder what he's gonna ask. I wonder what Ging is gonna say. In any case, last episode, Gon apologized to Kite, and Kite was like, fine, you're part of the gang. Like, I was weak too. Like, it's fine to, need training and need others to help you train. Like, I've been there, you've been there. It's all good.
Hey,
And
Hakuna
then-
Matata, man.
Yeah.
No worries.
And then Gon met up with Killua and Aruka. They went to meet Ging, and he said goodbye to Killua, who's going to travel the world with Aruka and help her, learn how to live and enjoy herself and just have fun, which is cool because
And not being locked up in a basement somewhere.
she needs what Killua had with Gon, and he's going to be the Gon to Haruka, which is pretty cool. The two of them were sad to say bye to each other, but I think it was a bittersweet moment, bitter and sweet, because they both grew and now they can find their own path and move on. And they're never gonna forget each other, so that's cool.
They're gonna meet again. Come on.
For sure. So, finale, you guys. Let's jump in this last episode of Hunter x Hunter and see how it all ends.
Alright.
Let's go. It's a great way to end this. Oh my god,
So,
you guys.
We're finally done with Hunter x Hunter. Not the
Aw.
manga, but the series. And I think that James said best that we should enjoy the side trip, because if you have a goal in mind, like a main goal at the end of the line, and you're only focusing to reach the end of the line without seeing what's going on the right, on the left, throughout your journey, you're gonna miss so much stuff.
I think that might be why he was like, you can find me if you're alone, but if you have friends and stuff, well, sorry, you gotta keep going, because if he's got friends, he's got reasons to, keep going around, having fun, having adventures. Like, we did it, from the beginning till now, like, Jing's mission, for Gon, has always been about the journey, the adventure. It's not so much about finding his dad, it's about what you'll do to get to him. So Greed Island was an adventure, have fun, enjoy it, and so it was for him. It's about the journey, it's about the side mission. So I like, it makes a lot of sense, and it's a great morale for the story.
But I do think that maybe a part of Jing might have been stressed that Gon would be resentful to him and just lash at him that, oh, you left me, you abandoned me.
It's
But like you said, both of them are so similar. I just wanted to understand
each other.
why did you choose to become a hunter to justly? What was your reason? And his reason was enough for him. Okay, all right, I understand.
Gon
You're fine.
understands it. Like, he's been through it. He's got friends. He understands what his dad is telling him in the end. So they are similar in that way. He gave him the opportunity. Like, I don't think he did all of that necessarily because, if I leave him, he's gonna get to live the life. Like, no, I think he really wasn't meant to be a dad. But since he was a dad, and he probably knew his son was going to end up like him, and his life journey taught him that, it's great to have goals and to have, stuff that you want, but finding it is not the prize, it's not what truly makes you happy, and he kind of wanted to teach that to his son. So he's not there with him, because I don't think he would have been good. Like, he wants to be away, he wants to, look for stuff, he wants to travel, he wants to go beyond, like, sky's the fucking limit. Like, now we know there's a whole fucking world outside of the world that they know. So there's always gonna be more.
A world on the top of another world.
On top of another world.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so much that, he couldn't stay with Gon. Like, he wasn't gonna be happy staying on the little island and stuff, but since he's his dad and his son is similar to him, he gave him, like, if you want to follow in my footsteps, if you're my son and if you're similar to me, I'm gonna teach you in my own way what I learned, which is, it's cool to have
Enjoy
a journey.
the side quest.
Exactly, and I think
do
it's
all of them before the main quest.
and I think it's great because, like, it's true for us as well, like in life and stuff. Like, it's great to have dreams and it's great to have, you know, ultimate goals and stuff, but those goals should not make the journey to reach them, you know, devoid of life or, you know, non-important. Like, you really got to enjoy life to its fullest, because if you focus only on the prize, you're gonna miss so many things. Like, you can make friends, you can learn, you can travel. Like, whenever we do a video, we haven't done one in forever, but if you look at our videos on our channel from years ago, we used to do tributes, cosplay tributes, which we still want to do. But whenever we did cosplay tributes, I freaked out every time I finished editing and we would watch the end result. But the best memories were not when we watched the final result and we're like, oh, it looks so good. Like, it's the traveling that we did, it's the anecdotes that we have
while we're doing it.
Exactly, it's the making of that makes me the happiest, because it's the memories that I'm gonna keep forever. So the video exists and I like it, but I'm gonna remember the behind the scenes. I'm gonna remember the making of. I'm gonna remember the journey. So I like the morale of the story, and it makes sense because it's a story about hunters and hunters. What do they want? Like, yeah, sometimes we would say hunters are obsessed with the treasure.
Greedy people. Yeah.
Obsessed with the treasure. But when we play games about hunters, like Uncharted, when we watch movies about hunters, the excitement of those games and movies, they're all about discovery and the journey to get there. And yeah, I think it's great.
Jin brought up something when he found out what was inside the tomb. What made him the most happy wasn't the secret that the tomb revealed, but the excitement, the joy, and the pride that his friend were feeling.
Yeah.
Do you think that it is true that you can, when you're doing something, you can feel so much joy and pride for yourself, but sometimes you can feel more fulfillment and making people that you care about happy?
Well, yes. I think he might have meant that, you know, it's to see that he had become friends with these people, he had met these people, and they were just as happy as he was to find the tomb. That's what made him happy. So it's the fact that he met these people, that they were in his life now, and together they could achieve this. So it's not so much finding the tomb as well as, you know, them together doing something together and getting it in the end, like managing to be happy as a group. Like, it's what he had to do to get there is what made him happy. So just like I said, like, the journey was more important than the prize. So yes, it's true, making them happy was great, but like, they wouldn't be there if he didn't need to get friends for this to happen, you know. So it's the meeting them, I think that was most important. Having them in his life, making those connections. That's what he taught his son. That's what the entire show is about, the side journeys. Because we've been looking for Jing this whole time, and yeah, in the end, like, does the meeting really matter?
Were you satisfied with the meeting, how he did it after so long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, like, personally, if I was gone and I was meeting my dad like that, after years of not meeting him, I would be a bit more pissed. But for Gon, that's not what mattered. Because I think, especially now, being a hunter, having gone through the journey and understanding what Jing tried to teach him, I think he gets it. Like, his dad needed to go away. Like, he needed to discover more, and he wants to. He's passionate, and there's so much for him to see, and he couldn't stay behind. Like, that's not what would make him happy. And Gon is similar in the way that now that he's found Jing, he's got his answer, and actually, he didn't really need Jing to tell him. Like, he got the answer himself. So that's. To me, that means, like, he lived his life. He's lived his life so far to the fullest, and he's enjoyed it, and he's got the future to look forward to. And Jing basically introduced him to another. Like, basically, it's like, you'll always, since the world is so much bigger than you think, there's always gonna be more. So even if you find your prize, there's always gonna be more to discover.
Always gonna be something else.
Yeah. So you take the time that you need, because I mean, you're gonna enjoy your life as much as possible, and that's what matters. And I think it's beautiful. And just, we saw it, like, the whole, it's not so much nostalgia as it's just remember where you've been, remember who you met. Like, we saw everyone, we saw every, chapter.
Every arc of this story, we saw it back.
Yeah, like, it's, I mean, there is a slight message of, what we've gone through to reach Ging, but it's not so much like, was Ging worth it? It's like, this was worth it. The journey was worth it. All of these characters that we love, everything they went through, like, it's worth it. And I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely more to the story, but...
Of course there is, but I think that we brought up the subject a couple of times throughout our journey in reacting to Hunter x Hunter. But as a series, because we know that technically the manga is still ongoing, right? But
as an anime series.
As an anime series. We did brought up the fact, if not in front of the camera, but in between ourselves at home, that we thought that maybe some of the storylines were maybe cut short, or what happened to some of the characters wasn't really developed more in details, or didn't have more of an impact on what was going on, right?
Not so much that it wasn't developed. Like, my only real issue, and it's not so much an issue, it's just that it's something that I was like, I had to learn, this is how Hunter x Hunter is going to go.
let it go.
Not let it go, it's just I'm used to stuff that, hits harder in the field, stuff that, has bigger consequences, especially in the beginning of Hunter x Hunter. Like, there's a lot that happens that I felt, that, the consequences really didn't really matter. Like, I'm going to take an example from this arc. Gon went through all of this, fought Neferpito, used this intense power. He was almost dying and stuff. Like, he lost limbs. And then he got healed like that. No consequences whatsoever. Like, but the thing with Hunter x Hunter is, like, there's always an emotional message. It's just that there's no... I mean, not always. There's not always true consequences to the big stuff, which I sometimes found, an issue with. Like, characters that were meant to be really strong were defeated really easily, or, the characters that would defeat them would walk out of these fights with nothing, to show for it. I know there's more to it, like, for example, Kurapika and his power, like, there's an after effect to it that they didn't really explore much in the anime, so that's why I'm like, maybe in the manga it's different. Whereas in the anime, I felt like, whenever a character like Gon would, suffer a loss or anything, it's like he would brush it off and move on, or he would heal really quickly. Like, but the emotional stuff in certain arcs was really good. Like, the Chimera arc is probably perfect.
It is the best arc for me
Yeah.
for this series.
Because, Kite really died, although, like, if you think about it, he came back. Like, that's the thing. Like, characters that die don't really die. Characters that suffer heal quickly. But then again, like, I say that, but for sure you'll find exceptions. Like, what's his fucking name? Shoot? Wait, what? Knuckle and Shoot? Yeah, Shoot. He lost an arm. Like, he's still in the hospital. Like, he's still trying to heal from that. And, creepy woman, what's her name? I forgot. It's been a year.
Just call her the Grudge.
Creepy woman,
but yeah,
Grudge.
we know her. Yeah.
Like, she's changed completely now. Like, she's no longer human. So there are consequences to a few of things, but several times in the show I felt like the stakes were not as high as they could have been.
died. Technically.
Yes, that's the thing. Like, several times I felt like the stakes weren't as high, but the Chimera arc really changed that opinion a little bit for me. Like, a lot of stuff happened in the Chimera arc that I was like, oh, okay, that's what I'm used to.
Well,
like,
at least compared to the beginning of the show, like with the Hunter exam,
well, some
and
people
with
did die.
the Zoldyck family and the arena, the more that the show went, the more the stakes had a more of an impact. Like with York New and right after the camera ends, those impact had more meaning and punches in the guts.
But then again, I think it feels like it works for the message, and it works for what Hunter x Hunter is, because it's about kids who are growing in this world and they need to discover the joy of an adventure. And yes, it's going to be hard. There's going to be obstacles, and sometimes you suffer. But if it was really hard and they kept, struggling and they kept losing and they kept suffering and stuff, like, why would they continue? Like, there's no joy in what they're doing. So it's not so much like, I really got to do this thing. Like, it's like on my honor and stuff. Like, it's my life. I guess, like, no, it's about the enjoyment of the journey. Like, Jing's speech in the end would be meaningless if the journey was terrible and there was only suffering, you know?
What I mean, technically, realistically, kids their age would have been find so many difficulties. But it's a show. Both of them are crazy strong, crazy, natural, talented kids.
There's that. I also
You know?
felt that they had an issue with the struggling. Like they would struggle here and there, but any time one of them would struggle, it would be really short, and they would eventually become better really quickly. Where I'm used to like the Ichigo type of shonen character, where he would keep losing. And eventually overcome the enemy, but every time he faces a new enemy, he loses. Then he
Yeah.
trains. Then he
Because
becomes better.
every single one of these new enemies is stronger than the previous one.
Whereas for Gon, like several times, it felt like he was just that good. Like he would just win no matter what.
Yeah.
So, at times it did feel like the stakes weren't as great as what I'm used to. But like I said, the story of Hunter x Hunter, the message behind Hunter x Hunter, fits this because it needs to be fun. It needs to be enjoyable. And whenever it's not enjoyable anymore and the characters go through some messed up shit, we get stuff like the camera arc. And even Kurapika, if you think about it, at the end we see him and he's not happy. You know?
No, it
His
isn't.
journey right now doesn't really matter. Like he's not at that point where he gets to remember his friends and like he doesn't think about it. He
No,
doesn't
it's
watch the
too-
thing. Like
He's too clouded in his revenge.
he's too focused on the end goal.
Yeah.
So that's why like his journey is not over. That's why I'm like, kind of wish they would have kept going with them a little bit.
Which make me thinking, do you think that for what we got with 148 episode, and the different characters like the Zoldyck, the Phantom Troop, Kurapika, Olorio, did we see enough of those characters?
Well, there is more. So no. the manga goes on, so there's
Okay.
more. And there are so many characters that we explored and saw, but some characters have more to tell, you know, when it comes to their journey, they have more to show us. It's just that the anime ended here, so if we want to see more, we need to read the manga. So yeah, no, the anime didn't show everything about all the characters because there's more to tell. It's just that we're just gonna stop it here. But for the people that we did meet whose story was complete, you know, I felt like it was great. Like it's not like we get to see the story of everyone and we get to see the beginning, middle, and end of every story because it's just like people that we meet along the way. Sometimes you stick with them till like Kirua, you stick with them till the end and you see their journey come to an end. And sometimes like Kurapika, you meet them in the beginning and then they go on and they do their thing.
And you never see them again.
And sometimes like Leorio, you meet them in the beginning, you don't see them in the middle, but then you see them reach their goal in the end. It's the journey. Like that's the message.
Come on.
But yeah, like arc wise, definitely like they were ups. There were ups and downs for me. Some arcs were not as good as the others to me, but that, like I said, that's because I'm a basic bitch when it comes to shonen. But my number one to me is Yorknu because it was the first time where I was like, oh shit, like the tone has changed. It's a lot darker. The Phantom Troop is really cool. The whole, like, even though the Phantom Troop was defeated quite easily, but that's because Kurapika really used his power.
Not all of them were defeated
well,
quite easily.
Kurapika's power is fucking intense.
Fucking
But
OP, yeah.
the prize is also intense, so that's why. But in any case, the Phantom Troop was hyped up so much. They were introduced like crazy.
Do you think that we could maybe have more of the Yorknu arc compared to the Chimera arc?
No. The Chimera arc was long, but it was also really good. Yorknu didn't need to be longer. I mean, the story is not over, but when it ended, it made sense, and the rest of it is for another arc. Like, it feels right for it to be open-ended like this, because otherwise Kurapika's story would have been done right away, and then there's nothing else to say about him, so...
Yeah.
But Yorknu would be my number one.
Okay.
Chimera would be not my number two, but that's because I love Kurapika so much. So that's why But I think the Chimera arc is probably the best in the show. It's just that personally, I enjoy the York New one more. So I would be like York New Chimera, Hunter Exam.
Greed Island?
Uh,
You think that
Maybe
Greed
Greed-
Island is before Hunter Exam?
Nope.
No?
I preferred Hunter Exam.
Really?
There's an OG type of feel to it that I really like. Kind of tournament. But like, I mean, the actual tournament, I don't remember how the tower's called. Heaven's Arena. There you
Yeah,
go.
but, well, the arena.
Is an actual tournament, but it wasn't as, like, we didn't see as much as I wanted, so that's why I'm not putting it.
It went pretty quick.
The Hisoka fight was cool. The whole figuring out how he fights and stuff, and it was more like a training montage, so I'm gonna be like, yeah, York New Chimera, Hunter Exam, then
You got
maybe
the
Greed Island.
Greed Island, the arena,
By the way, I'm
Zoldyx.
gonna, like, I don't remember how the order in which I said in the episode, so that might change, but yeah. Greed Island next, then I think I would put...
You got the arena, the Zoldyx, and you got the election.
The election is the last one for me, just because it was, like, the whole concept is cool, and it's different. It's just that it's a lot of the same thing, like, every episode.
It went on for so long, yeah.
So the last one would be, I think, the election for me. Then, be right above the election, I think, would be the Zoldyck.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Zoldyck. They were cool. So I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying I think I'll put it above, like, the election, but below everything else. And, yeah, the rest, like, just... The rest of the order is pretty easy.
Alright.
So Greed Island, then Heaven's Arena, then the Zoldyck,
Then the election.
and the election. What about you?
Pretty much the same. What I mean,
You're changing York New and Chimera?
I think I'll put the camera first, then York New, then Greed Island, then the After Exam, then the arena, the Zoldyx, and finally the election. The election for me was maybe not an important part of the storyline from what we had.
Well, it's important for the world. It's just that after everything we've been through in the Chimera,
What I
it
mean-
feels like, whoa. Like,
I personally, I didn't see the point to bring up new characters like the Zodiacs so much at the end of the storyline.
but that's because the manga goes on.
I know, that's the main problem. But if you're just looking at the story from what we got with the anime storyline, it doesn't make sense.
Well, it makes sense for the world, and it makes sense for the arc. It's just that, yeah, introducing a lot of new
But I
characters
mean,
so close to the end.
what it could have done is maybe brought up the name earlier. It's like, oh, they talk about the top hunters in the world, like the Zodiacs, and at the end we brought them back and we introduced them finally.
Maybe.
That could have been something.
I mean, I'm not mad about the show anyway. Like, I enjoyed it. We had fun singing the opening, trying to sing the endings here and there. That was really cool. Meeting these characters, finally seeing what Hunter x Hunter is about. All the ups and downs, and you know, some of the episodes, like, were fucking cool. Especially in Chimera arc, you know, there was a lot in there that was amazing. And the
I'm
soundtrack,
still sad that Midwim had to die.
I think it was necessary.
Necessary?
Can be sad, but necessary. And yeah, the soundtrack was really, really good. And yeah, overall, it was a really great journey. And I'm gonna stop talking now because I'm losing my voice and I really need to drink water. But
Alright, so
this is like the biggest reaction we've ever done. And I mean, it's almost scary to say we're gonna do another big one after this, but we have one in mind. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching Hunter x Hunter with us. It's finally over. After this, the number one contender is Black Clover.
yeah, possibly.
Possibly. Black Clover is top of the list right now
Yeah.
to replace
We're
Hunter x
not-
Hunter.
We're not ready yet to top up the big one like One Piece. We're not ready
Black
yet.
Clover neither. Like, we need to focus on other shows first, but eventually we will do another big anime, and hopefully this one will go more smoothly. But big journeys like this is what we grew up with. And, you know, I love shorter animes, but sometimes it feels good to have such a long journeys. It's such a long time to meet and get to know characters, and it's definitely a story I'm gonna remember. And there are some moments I kind of want to go back and rewatch again, especially now that we're done with it. Like, I kind of want to go back and like try to understand the Nen system a little bit better. Try to really now that we know everything, like try to go back and get even more information. Get
Pay more attention to what they explain on screen.
Well, now that we understand it, it's gonna be easier maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, going back and rewatching, especially like the first few chapters because it's been so long. It would be cool. And yeah, so that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this amazing show with us. We'll see you with another reaction eventually.
We'll see you for the next show.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Bye.